What if I told you that one random walk down the street changed everything for Doechii? She wasn't supposed to make it. She had no industry connections, no viral cosign, and for years, nobody was listening. She had already poured her heart into music, but nothing was working. Then, at her lowest moment, she found a book just lying on the ground. She picked it up, started reading, and what happened next? It turned her into one of the most talked about artists in hip-hop today. But this isn't some overnight success story. The industry rejected her. She lost everything. She was ready to quit. And yet, against all odds, she made it to the top. So, how did a struggling artist with no real support system break into the mainstream? And what's the real story behind the song that took over social media? Stick around, because what you're about to hear isn't just inspiring. It might just change how you see success forever. Before she became Doechii, she was Jayla Hickman, a girl growing up in Tampa, Florida, with an overwhelming creative spirit. From a young age, she was surrounded by music and the arts, attending Howard W. Blake High School, a school known for fostering artistic talent. But Jayla wasn't just talented, she was driven. She experimented with everything. She wasn't content with just being a musician. She wanted to be a creator. One day, she'd upload a song cover. The next, she'd be vlogging about her daily life. Then, she'd post a how-to video on a completely random topic. Her content was unpredictable, raw, and deeply personal. And while most people saw this as a young artist trying to find herself, in reality, she already knew who she was. She was just waiting for the world to catch up. Like many independent artists, Doechii believed in herself before the world did. She wasn't afraid of putting herself out there, and in 2019, she took a major step by releasing her first mixtape, The Coven Music Sessions, Volume 1. This wasn't some overnight SoundCloud project. It was something she put her entire heart, soul, and savings into. She paid for it herself, handled her own marketing, and tried to push it to a wider audience. But there was just one problem. Nobody was listening. It didn't matter how much effort she put in. The numbers weren't growing. The industry wasn't paying attention, and that realization hit her hard. In 2019, she uploaded one of the rawest and most heartbreaking videos on her YouTube channel. She admitted that she felt like she was failing, like she wasn't sure if she was meant to do this. I feel like everybody's life is better without me in it. I fear that I'm at a standstill. This wasn't just frustration. This was deep self-doubt. The kind that makes even the most talented people question if they should just quit. And just when things seemed like they couldn't get worse, they did. Every artist faces moments of doubt. But for Doechii, rock bottom came fast and hard. By 2019, she had been balancing her dreams with reality, working regular jobs to stay afloat while making music on the side. One of those jobs? Chipotle. Yep, before the world knew her name, she was rolling burritos and taking orders, just trying to make ends meet. But even then, she wasn't just another employee. She made a whole YouTube video on how to get hired at Chipotle, turning even her day job into content. But while she was grinding at work, her music wasn't taking off the way she had hoped. She had already dropped The Coven Music Sessions, Volume 1, a project she poured everything into, her time, her money, her creativity. And despite all of that, the response was underwhelming. The plays weren't adding up. The industry wasn't paying attention. She was doing everything right, but nothing was clicking. Then, the unthinkable happened. She got fired. Just like that, her steady income was gone. No backup plan, no safety net, just an artist, broke and unsure of what to do next. For most people, this would have been the moment to quit, to move on, to be realistic. And for a second, Doechii felt that too. She was exhausted. She had already pushed herself so hard, and now it felt like the universe was telling her to give up. But instead of giving in, she made a decision. If she had nothing left to lose, she might as well risk it all on music. Then, COVID hit. The world shut down. Suddenly, the pressure of making money disappeared. but so did everything else. She moved back home to Tampa with her family, stuck inside like the rest of the world, and in those months of isolation, she had all the time in the world to focus on her music. No distractions, no excuses. But instead of thriving, she found herself hitting a creative wall. For the first time in her life, she felt blocked. Her ideas weren't clicking. Her inspiration was running dry. She started questioning whether she had made a mistake chasing this dream. And then, on a completely normal day, a random walk changed everything. On the sidewalk, she spotted a pile of old books. Something made her stop. She rummaged through them, flipping through pages, looking for anything interesting. And then she saw it. A book called The Artist's Way. At that moment, she had no idea what it was or how it would impact her. But she picked it up, took it home, and started reading. What happened next? It completely changed her career and her life. What she found inside would completely rewire her approach to music. The Artist's Way is a 12-week course designed to unlock creativity and help artists break through mental blocks. Each week included self-reflection exercises, affirmations, and writing prompts, forcing her to confront her fears and insecurities head-on. And for the first time, she realized what had been missing: honesty. Up until this point, Doechii had been making music she thought people wanted to hear. But this book made her see things differently. She stopped chasing trends. She stopped worrying about what others expected. And when the 12 weeks were up, she created a song that would change her life forever. Yucky, Blucky Fruitcake. With her last unemployment check, she funded the music video. At first, it felt like just another passion project. Her die-hard fans loved it, but it wasn't blowing up. Then, in April 2021, something insane happened. Almost overnight, Yucky Blucky Fruitcake exploded on social media. At first, a few people used it in their videos. Then, suddenly, there were 50,000 plus videos featuring the song. It was everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Unstoppable. And once the internet latches onto something, there's no turning back. By the time Yucky Blucky Fruitcake went viral, Doechii was no longer just another underground artist trying to get noticed. She was the hottest new act on the internet, and the music industry was paying attention. Labels started circling, trying to sign her. The viral moment had made her a valuable asset, and major record companies saw the potential. But while most up-and-coming artists would have jumped at the first big deal, Doechii wasn't just looking for a contract. She was looking for control. She had already spent years fighting for her creative vision, and the last thing she wanted was to become just another artist lost in the machine. Some labels offered big money, but with major restrictions on her sound, her image, her artistic choices. That wasn't an option for her. Then came Top Dog Entertainment, TDE, the legendary label that had built the careers of Kendrick Lamar, SZA, Schoolboy Q, Isaiah Rashad, and more. Unlike the other offers, TDE wasn't trying to mold her into something else. They saw her as she was: bold, experimental, and completely unique. For Doechii, that was everything. So in 2022, she made it official. Doechii became TDE's first female rapper. TDE had built a reputation for being one of the most artist-friendly labels in hip-hop. Unlike traditional record labels that often prioritize trends over artistry, TDE was known for letting their artists take their time, develop their sound, and grow naturally. Just look at Kendrick Lamar. Before becoming one of the greatest rappers of his generation, he had the full backing of TDE, who allowed him to develop his craft without forcing him to chase hits. SZA had a similar journey. Her debut album Control took years to perfect, but when it finally dropped, it became a classic. Doechii saw this and knew that TDE wasn't just a label. It was a home for creative freedom. She later described the moment she signed, saying it was one of the biggest moments of her career. She wasn't just signing a contract, She was joining a legacy. The moment she joined TDE, her career shifted into high gear. She dropped Persuasive, her first official release under TDE, and immediately got a remix with SZA, one of the biggest cosigns she could ask for. She performed the song on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, marking her national television debut. She was named an XXL Freshman in 2022, a title given to the most promising rising artists in hip-hop. From that moment on, she was no longer an independent artist trying to break through. She was a force to be reckoned with. But what made her rise so unique was that she never compromised her artistic vision. TDE allowed her to experiment, to push boundaries, to be weird, bold, and unapologetic. And it paid off. In 2023, she dropped What It Is, which racked up over 400 million streams, making it her biggest song to date. She performed at Coachella, opened for Doja Cat on the Scarlet Tour, and dropped Alligator Bites Never Heal, an album that landed her a Grammy nomination for Best Rap Album. And through it all, she remained Doechii, the same artist who had once vlogged from her bedroom, wondering if she would ever make it. By signing with TDE, Doechii did more than just secure a record deal. She cemented herself as the future of hip-hop. She's not chasing trends. She's creating them. She's not following a formula. She's breaking it. And just like Kendrick and SZA before her, she's proving that true artistry will always find a way to shine. 2023 was the year Doechii went from rising star to full-blown sensation. Her song What It Is racked up 400 million streams. She performed at Coachella and opened for Doja Cat on the Scarlet Tour. She dropped Alligator Bites Never Heal, an album that landed her a Grammy nomination for Best Rap Album, and the industry was watching. Kendrick Lamar called her the hardest out right now. Billie Eilish, Hayley Williams, SZA all co-signed her. The girl who once doubted herself was now at the center of hip-hop's future. Doechii's story isn't just about talent. It's about relentless persistence. It's about taking risks when you have nothing left. It's about understanding that sometimes one book, one song, one moment can change everything. She could have quit when nobody listened. She could have walked away when she got fired. She could have stayed small, played it safe, and waited for someone else to give her a chance. But she didn't. She bet on herself, even when it felt like the odds were stacked against her. And if there's one thing to take from her journey, it's this: you never know how close you are to your breakthrough. Oprah Winfrey once said, "The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams." Doechii lived that adventure, even when it was terrifying. Michelle Obama once said, "Your story is what you have, what you will always have. It is something to own." Doechii didn't wait for someone else to tell her story. She took control, wrote her own narrative, and made the world listen. Beyoncé once said, "I don't like to gamble, but if there's one thing I'm willing to bet on, it's myself." And that's exactly what Doechii did. So if you're sitting there wondering if success is out of reach, remember this: Doechii was once in that same place, and now she's proof that your breakthrough might be closer than you think.